All right, let's get into it. Today, we're going to tackle one of the most feared parts of learning Portuguese, the subjunctive. But seriously, don't worry. By the end of this, we are going to crack this code together. You know that feeling, right? When you're trying to say something simple like, I hope, or maybe spin up a what-if scenario, and you just get stuck? The idea is crystal clear in your head, but the Portuguese words they don't seem to work. Well, that's exactly what we're fixing today.
So what even is this subjunctive mood? Well, first things first, let's stop thinking about it as a bunch of boring verb charts. Think of it as a special mode you can switch into. It's the tool you grab when you want to talk about possibilities, about hopes, doubts, and hypotheticals, not just plain old facts.
To really get a grip on this what-if mode, we're not going to just sit here and memorize rules. No, we're going to do something much cooler. We're going to travel through time. We'll look at the subjunctive in the present, then the past, and finally the future. Think of this timeline as our roadmap.
Now, inside those time zones, you'll find a few different tenses, but don't let that number freak you out. It's actually really simple. We've got a tool for the present, a couple of options for different kinds of what-ifs in the past, and 2 for talking about the uncertain future. We're just going to walk through them one by one. It's going to make perfect sense.
Okay, so first stop on our journey, the present subjunctive. This is going to be your best friend. It's the most common, the most useful, and it's what you'll use for all your hopes, doubts, and wishes that are happening right now.
And here's the really cool part. There's a super simple formula for building it. You literally just follow these steps. 1, you start with the regular I form of a verb, like follow for I speak. 2, you chop off that final O. And 3, you add the opposite ending. That's the whole trick.
And this chart lays out that opposite ending rule perfectly. See how R verbs, which normally have A's, now get E endings? And the ER and IR verbs, which have E's, now get A endings? It's just a clean swap. It's that easy.
So let's look at a real-world example. Espero que, I hope that phrase is a massive trigger for the subjunctive. See, we're not saying that they are selling their shares. That would be a fact. We're in that world of hope, of uncertainty. And that's exactly why the verb vender flips its ending to become vendam.
Okay, we've got the present handled, so let's hop in our time machine and head to the past. The past subjunctive is where things get really interesting, because this is where you can start talking about complex stuff. Hypotheticals, regrets, all those if-only moments.
The first tool we have for the past is called the imperfect subjunctive. Its main job, really, is to build the first half of an if-then sentence. Think of it as the engine for all your hypothetical situations.
And here it is, right in action. Se você fosse. If you went. This didn't actually happen, right? It's a condition. We're creating this little imaginary world where you go to the party, and in that world, I would be happy.
Now, what if you want to say something even more complex? Like, if only I had done that. For that, we use what's called compound tenses. Now, that sounds way more complicated than it is. Trust me, it's just a simple recipe. You take a helping verb and you pair it with your main action verb. Let me show you.
So, let's break down the pluperfect tense. It's not one big, scary verb. It's just 2 simple pieces. First, you take the verb ter, meaning to have, and you put it in that imperfect subjunctive we just learned. So it becomes tivesse. Then, you just add your main action, like estudado, for studied. You're literally just piecing together if I had and studied.
And this is why it's so powerful. Se ela tivesse estudado, if she had studied. This paints a picture of a past that never happened. It expresses a regret, a situation that's the opposite of what was real. This is your ultimate if-only tool. All right, we've done the present, we've done the past, you know what's next. Let's jump into the future. Now, the future subjunctive is actually pretty special. Not a lot of languages have it, and it is incredibly useful for talking about things that might happen down the road.
So, when on earth do you use this? Simple. Anytime you start a sentence with se, if, or cuando, when, about the future, and you're not 100% sure it's going to happen, bam, you need the future subjunctive. It's for setting up a condition for a future result. Let's look at this example. Si ele vier, if he comes, we don't know for sure if he's actually going to show up. It's just a possibility. So that possibility, his coming here, is the condition that will trigger the second part of the sentence.
And, yep, you probably saw this coming. There's a compound version for the future, too. And it works with the exact same logic. We take our helping verb, ter, and this time we put it in the future subjunctive, so it becomes te ver. Then we just tack on our main action, like feito, for done.
This is so useful for talking about things that have to happen in a certain order in the future. Cuando tivermos feito, when we have done, it's saying that one action, doing the exercises, has to be completed before the next future action, the teacher's evaluation, can happen.
And that's it. That's the whole system. What might have looked like this impossible, confusing mess of rules is actually a super logical toolkit. You now have a specific tool for every single situation. Hopes, hypotheticals, future possibilities. The code is officially cracked.
So let's just do a quick recap of your new expressive superpowers. With the present subjunctive, you can talk about your current hopes and wishes. With the past tenses, you can explore alternate realities and what could have been. And with the future tenses, you can navigate all the what-ifs that lie ahead. See, you didn't just learn grammar, you've unlocked a whole new level of communication.
Which really just leaves us with one final question. This was never just about rules on a page. It's about expression. So now that you have this incredibly powerful tool in your hands, what are all the new ideas, the new hopes, and the new what-ifs that you're going to go out and share?